Shana Tova, good morning. We're very happy that you're here. Get comfy. We're going to welcome the new year together in just a few minutes. In the meantime, if you haven't had your cereal or your apples and honey or your coffee, I've got my coffee. You can have some too.
I have my tea in my favorite mug at my parents' house that says Big Hug on
I love that.
it.
Is that an apple on the mug as well?
I think it's a heart,
Hmm.
but you could say it's an apple.
Sure, for today,
Love
why
an
not?
apple. Yeah.
I brought some apples.
I'm happy to share those of you who are watching us via any of our streaming platforms, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Brand Live. If you wanted to join us in the Zoom room, the Zoom information is on hand, but you can also join us via those other platforms, which are all live right now.
Thank you, Rabbi Levy. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes. It's really nice to know that so many of you are already here with us, joining our prayers and our celebration of the birthday of the world.
Have we already discussed what excellent virtual backgrounds we have going on this morning?
We haven't.
Rael, I love yours.
Thank you so much. I chose it specifically for the service this morning.
Wait a minute, that's a virtual background?
I know you matter so well.
I just thought that every rabbi gets that kind of wallpaper.
Oh, maybe one day. One day.
And of course, Rabbi Levy lives in a room with a giant Torah scroll behind him because he's a rabbi. That's what rabbis do. And see, I have a virtual shofar on the mantle behind me. A couple of them, as a matter of fact. You'll get to see and maybe, just maybe, even hear those shofars a little bit later on in our service this morning. So, once again, Shana Tova, welcome. If you're just joining us, take a few minutes to settle in, look around, especially if you have a window to the outside. You can appreciate that today is an absolutely beautiful, crisp day that feels a little bit like fall might just be 2 days away, which in fact it is. So, very end of summer, ready to welcome a new year. Good morning, Dave and Julie. And Micah and Zeke. Hey guys, so good to see you all. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm grateful that you're here. What I'd like to do is just, if I make you a co-host, then you'll be able to unmute yourselves at the designated time when I call you for an aliyah to the Torah. I saw that thumbs up. Perfect. Great. Shana Tova, so happy to share this special New Year's morning with all of you. And it's Shabbat, so Shabbat Shalom as well.
Wow, I see a shofar on the screen.
I would like for someone to explain to me how Rabbi David Levy is in two places at once right now.
I was thinking the same thing.
I mean it when I say that Rabbi David Levy is a wizard. He actually has a diploma from Hogwarts. He's a Hufflepuff. Happens to be. I know that because I'm Slytherin.
Is he a Hufflepuff or is he a Ravenclaw?
That's he told me he's Hufflepuff, but could well be Ravenclaw. You're Gryffindor, right?
Ariel and I are Hufflepuff for
Oh,
sure.
got it, got it. Well, whatever Rabbi Levy is, we're very happy that he is a wizard. because he knows all of the magic to make services over Zoom come out perfectly. And once again, we wish Shana Tova to our entire viewing congregation, whether you are here with us in Zoom land or you are viewing on one of our several streaming channels through the temple website or through WRT's Facebook Live or YouTube Live channels. Everyone is welcome this morning because today is the birthday of the world, Rosh Hashanah, also Shabbat. We have so much to celebrate, so much to give thanks for, so many blessings in our lives. And if you doubt me, just first look outside and see that it is such a beautiful day. The world smiles on us today. And maybe you can also look around your house and see all of the people and all of the things that are blessings. If you have a mom or a dad, or maybe a grandma or a grandpa, maybe even a sister or a brother, maybe some of you have a favorite toy. Maybe some of you have food in front of you, which is a blessing. Maybe some of you tasted some apples and honey last night for the holiday, and it tasted sweet. So much to give thanks for. Let's all ring in the new year together. I want to just introduce myself, and the people who will be leading this morning's service will introduce themselves as well. Hi, everyone. Shana Tova. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Blake, and this is my 18th Rosh Hashanah at Westchester Reformed Temple, and my 20th Rosh Hashanah as a rabbi, and it is my 46th Rosh Hashanah as a person. But tomorrow I turn 47, so I just skated in. Good morning, everyone. Shana Tova. Team, will you introduce yourself so that everybody knows who they're praying with?
Hi, everyone. I'm Cantor Danielle Rodniski. This is my first Rosh Hashanah with WRT, but my 29th as a human. I'm so happy to be here with you all. And of course, wish we were in person together, but feel like you're right here in my living room with me. Very happy that we get to celebrate the new year together.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ariel Milan Polisar, WRT's rabbinic intern. This is my third Rosh Hashanah with WRT and my 28th as a human. And I'm very excited about it being 5781 this year because in the year 5781, I'm going to become a rabbi, which is really, really exciting. So I'm really happy to ring in this new special year with all of you.
Cantor,
Yeah.
Kleinman, will you say hi?
Sure. I'm not part of the leadership of today's service. I'm just here to get to celebrate the holiday with all of you, but I'm Cantor Amanda Kleinman. This is 9 years for me at WRT, and I guess we're saying how old we are today, so it's my 33rd year on the planet, and I wish you all a Shana Tova, very happy and healthy new year, and I'm so excited to get to be here and celebrate the holiday and welcome the new year with all of you and with all of my colleagues.
And thank you. And I know that they're busy taking care of children and technology, but I'll just say Shana Tova from Rabbi Levy, who's with us today, and from Rabbi Reeser, who's with us today. We are all so, so happy. So let's do a little bit of singing to warm up our bodies, our souls, our voices, our thoughts to welcome the new year.
Leshana tova tikatevu, Leshana tova tikatevu, a good year, a year of peace we wish to you. Leshana tova tikatevu, Leshana tova tikatevu, a good year, a year of peace we wish to you.
All right, my friends, we are so excited to all be here together to have reached this season. And so we have a very special prayer that we say to thank God for allowing us to reach this very special time. So we are going to sing Shehechianu together. And so if you can think of something just like the clergy team just shared something special about this year, something that you're excited about, think of that and please sing along with us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Some beautiful singing. I know I can't hear you, but I can feel your spirit with me. So Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of the world. As the world grows older, we grow older too. So now we sing the Shema together, and Shema tells us to listen. And in order to listen, we have to be very, very quiet. So if you're chatting to your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad or whoever is with you, I'm going to ask everyone to get very, very quiet so that we can sing this very special song together. And some people might cover their eyes, because when we cover our eyes, we can sometimes hear a little bit better. So I'm going to cover my eyes, and you can decide to cover your eyes if you'd like to. And we're going to sing together the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. We think about God when we get up. We think about God when we go to school. We think about God when we play. We think about God when we go to bed. We think about God.
So let's take a moment not only to think about God, but to thank God. Just change that I to an A, and you go from think to thank. And maybe out loud, wherever you are at home, you can say thank you for, and then fill in the blank. So if you, for instance, have a favorite toy in front of you, you could say thank you for this toy. If you have somebody you love who's sitting with you, you can turn to that person and say, thank you, I love you. If you think that today is beautiful and you can't wait to go play outside, you can say, thank you, God, for this beautiful day, for the sun that shines, for the grass that is green, and for the sky that is blue. Thank you, God.
I think in order to sing this beautiful song, here we go. We have slides on the screen so you all can sing with me. We're going to say thank you to God. Baruch atah Adonai, thank you, God. Baruch atah Adonai, thank you, God. Thank you for the people who always care for me. They love me and they help me. We are a family. Baruch atah Adonai, thank you, God. voice. Thank you, God, for watching over all the girls and boys. Baruch atah Adonai. Thank you, God. Baruch atah Adonai. Thank you, God. Thank you for your blessings, for gifts both far and near. I won't forget to thank you throughout this whole new year. Baruch atah Adonai. Thank you, God. Baruch atah Adonai. Thank you, God. Our next prayer, Avinu Malkeinu, is a prayer in which we think about God a little bit like a parent or like royalty, like a king or a queen. These people, parents and our leaders and rulers, give us rules and teach us how to live our lives in a sweet and holy way. They also protect us and keep us safe. So just like a parent and just like a leader, God too helps protect us and keeps us safe. And even though God sometimes feels really big and far away, God can also be really close to us, like our mom or dad or our grandparent. And so when we need help, when we need someone to teach us how to be kind, when we want to be kind to others, we can talk to our parents, we can talk to our leaders, and we can talk to God. We continue with Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu, ki hen banu maasim. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedaka v'chesed, v'hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu, ki hen banu maasim.
So we arrive at a very, very special moment in our service where we are going to hear words of Torah. And not just any words of the Torah, which is the most important book, the most important story by and for the Jewish people and for the whole world. We're going to hear from the very first words of the Torah. The first words of the Torah talk about the very beginning. Not the beginning of this day, not the beginning of this year, the beginning of everything. And the most important word that I want you to hear when I chant the Hebrew of the first words of the Torah is a very, very simple word that no one is unable to learn, no matter how old or young you are. And I'm going to ask for you to say that word after me. The word in Hebrew is Tov. Everyone say Tov. Good, I heard you. Tov is Hebrew for good, and we use it all the time. You probably have heard it 100 times and didn't even know it. If you woke up this morning and somebody said, Boker Tov, that means good morning. Or if they said Shana Tova, Tov is in Tova, a good year. We also say, when somebody does something really awesome, we say Mazel Tov or Mazal Tov. Tov or Tov, it's the same word, good. And so at the beginning of the creation of the world, God looks around and every single day says, Ki Tov. Boy, is this good. We feel so blessed this morning that our congregants, Dave and Julie Schnur, are with us. I'm going to ask for them to unmute at this time, and as soon as they do, they'll be visible on the screen. And they can see that I've put the blessing before the reading of Torah up on the screen. And I'm going to ask for Dave and Julie. That is right, Zeke. Micah and Zeke are with us too. Mom, Dad, will you help lead our congregation in the blessing before the reading of Torah this morning, please?
Yes. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. I'm going to mute you for time being and have you say the blessing afterward in just a few moments. And I am going to chant in a very special melody the words from the first chapter of the book of Genesis, which is the first book of the Torah. And you'll hear that the word tov comes up in this passage. And I'll chant it a special way so you know where it is. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu ve'choshech al pnei tehom ve'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim vayomer Elohim yehi or vayehi or vayar Elohim את האור כי טוב, ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך, ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום ולחושך קרא לילה, ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום אחד. At the very beginning of God's creating the heavens and the earth, when the earth was a total mess, and God's presence was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw the light that it was tov, it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and God called the darkness night. There was evening, and there was morning, day one. Dave and Julie, I'm going to put the words of the blessing after the reading of Torah back up on the screen. If you would just kindly unmute yourselves so that you can offer the blessings for our congregation. You're on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. What a beautiful job you've done honoring our community as you do each and every day. Thank you so much, and Shana Tova. So, at this time, I have a very special Rosh Hashanah story to share with you. I'm looking at my friend and colleague Ariel Milan Polisar's backdrop, and those apples look so delicious. It so happens that this is a story of an apple tree. I know some of you actually went apple picking at Wilkins Fruit and Fur Farm just a week ago today. So apples are probably on your mind, in your house, and maybe already from last night or this morning in your belly. I happen to love apples, and nothing is better than an apple dipped in honey. And on the new year, we dip apples in honey because we want everything about this new year to taste and be sweet. But this is a story about an apple tree who happened not to feel very sweet, happened to be very sad. And it takes place starting in the fall. Just 2 days from now, we're going to say goodbye to summer and hello to fall. And the temperatures are going to continue to drop little by little. And then one day we'll look outside and the grass won't be green anymore. There will be a white rime of frost on it. And we'll go outside and our shoes will go crunch in the frost. And it was right around that fall time of year when the tall trees of the forest all began to turn their leaves from bright green to red and yellow and orange, that a small little apple tree sapling, a tiny little young apple tree, would look up each night at the tall trees all around her and say, "My goodness, someday I hope to be like all these tall trees." And then when the sun would set at night, the moon would come out and all the stars in the sky could be seen through the branches of the trees. And our little apple tree would look up at the sky and say, "Oh God, dear God, if only I could have stars in my branches. And God said to the apple tree, well, you wait, little apple tree. You wait, and someday you too will have stars in your branches. Well, as always happens, time passed and fall turned to winter, and the leaves fell off of the trees, and now the stars would come out at night, and the little apple tree grew and would look up and say, oh God, dear God, I see all the stars in the branches of the trees all around me. Oh God, dear God, if only I could have stars in my branches. And God said, keep growing, little apple tree, and someday you too, you will have stars in your branches. Well, the apple tree did continue to grow, and winter turned to spring, and bright green buds appeared on the ends of the branches of the trees, and the first flowers of spring began to blossom on the trees, and then at night all the stars would come out, and our little apple tree, which was not so little anymore, would look up and still say, but God, dear God, I don't have stars in my branches, and all of the other trees around me have the stars in their branches. God, dear God, if only I too could have stars in my branches. And God said, just you wait, little apple tree, keep growing, and someday you too will have stars in your branches. Now you know what happens next. Spring gave way to summer, and the green buds on the trees and the flowers gave way to bright, wide, flat green leaves. And the little apple tree, which was definitely not little anymore, would still look up at night, and when all the stars would come out under a summer sky, the apple tree would look up and say, oh God, dear God, if only I had stars in my branches too. And God said, but apple tree, don't you know you already do? And the apple tree just looked up and said, I don't understand. And then God pointed, as only God could, at the beautiful red fruit that now by late summer was hanging off of the branches of the apple tree. And he said, apple tree, you have stars in your branches. And the apple tree said, I still don't understand. And God said, if you want to find your stars, all you have to do is look inside. And so the apple tree paused for a moment and gathered all of its thoughts, all of its concentration into a single apple that was hanging off of the tallest branch on the tree. And the apple looked inside, and lo and behold, there was a star inside. And I'm going to show you what the apple tree saw at that very moment. So as you can see, I have a whole, beautiful, ripe red apple that I picked from an apple tree just last week. And I have in my hand a very sharp knife. So this is where kids don't do this at home, but if you'd like to ask your mommy and daddy to try this with you, they can all do that later. So when you take an apple and you take a knife, normally you cut like this, you cut from the top to the bottom. But if you cut an apple from side to side, something magical happens. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it right here on camera. So you can probably hear I'm slicing my apple in half. And lo and behold, right there in the middle of the apple, there was a star. And by the way, boys and girls, you can ask mommy or daddy to cut you an apple like this today. And you too also have a star inside of you. You have the light of God, each one of you inside of you. Each one of you is special. Each one of you is holy. And each one of you, especially on this Shana Tova morning, this beautiful first morning of a new year, each one of you is so, so sweet. So I'm going to later dip my apple in honey and enjoy its delicious flavor and the way in which it will provide some nutrition for my belly and my soul today. And I wish all of you a Shana Tova, and I hope that you too find the stars inside of your branches. Shana Tova.
Now it's time to say goodbye to our story, to say goodbye to the Torah. And the word we use to say goodbye is shalom. Can everyone say shalom? Shalom. So shalom means goodbye. We're going to wave goodbye to the Torah. It also means hello. And it also means peace. So not only are we saying goodbye to the Torah, but we're saying peace. Torah, you bring us peace with your beautiful stories and all of the wonderful things that you teach us. And there's a very special hand clap that we can do with this particular shalom song. So it goes like this. Shalom, shalom, clap, 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 clap. Shalom, shalom, clap, 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 clap. Shalom, shalom, clap, 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 clap. Shalom, shalom. So we're going to try that together, and you guys are going to show me your wonderful clapping skills, and we're going to say shalom, goodbye to our Torah. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Clap, 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 clap. Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to them who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Here we go. Shalom, shalom. Clap, 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 clap. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. And now we're going to continue with something very special. I saw someone in our congregation this morning holding their own very special shofar, and now I see a few of them. Do you guys know the different sounds that the shofar makes? There are 4 different sounds, and we're going to sing a little song today so that we can learn the 4 sounds together before we actually do the blowing of the shofar. Let's see if we can learn those. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy new year. Very good. The first sound that a shofar makes is one medium-sized blast called tekiah. Can everyone say tekiah? Tekiah. Very good. It sounds like this. Tekiah, you try. Tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy new year. The next sound that a shofar makes is 3 shorter sounds. It sounds like this. Shevarim, you try. Shevarim. Tekiah now. Tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy new year. Okay, now the next one is called Tarua. Can everyone say Tarua? And it is 9 really short, fast ones. So we're going to count on our fingers. It sounds like this. Tarua, ha, 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 ha. I can't count on my fingers, apparently. Now you try. Tarua, ha, 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 ha. Very good. Shevarim. Tekiah, tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast, sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy new year. Okay, here's our last special sound. It's called tekiah gedolah. Can everyone say that? Tekiah gedolah. Gedolah means really, really big. So we need to sit up straight so we can get a good breath. And when I say go, we're going to take a really deep breath, as deep as we can take, and we're going to hold out tekiah gedolah for as long as we possibly can. Are you guys ready? I need your help with this one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Tekiah gedolah. as I can go. Tarua, ah ha 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 ha. Shevarim. Regular tekiah this time. Tekiah. I like to hear the shofar blast. Sometimes slow and sometimes fast. I like to hear the shofar blast. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Happy, happy, happy New Year. And now we're going to hear the sound of the shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar. And now Rabbi Blake is going to blow the shofar for us with the 4 sounds that we just learned.
I am getting my lungs filled with the air that is needed to play the shofar, not just any shofar. As you can see, this is a very impressive shofar. This is a special kind of ram's horn that once upon a time was the property of the head of an animal called an ibex, or a yael in Hebrew, which actually happens to be a beautiful name. So this is a yael horn, and it makes an incredible number of sounds and pitches. I am a former trumpet player, but I gave up the trumpet in high school and decided that I had a career in the shofar instead. So Cantor Radnitsky is going to announce the sounds of the shofar. All of you can join her for that because you know them now. You just learned them: tekiah, shivarim, Tarua, and tekiah gidolah. And not only that, if you have a shofar, you can play along. Guess what? You all have a shofar. Just take your hands like this, make a shofar, extend your thumb on one end and your pinky on the other, and you're going to help me sound the shofar. Cantor, let's do this.
Tekiah. Shevarim. Tarua. Now here we go. Deep breath, everyone who's going to play along on their shofar. Tekiah gedolah. Wow, what an awesome shofar blow.
Thank you. Now I'm going to check myself in.
I don't know about you all, but after all of that shofar blowing, I think I might need a little snack. And so we've been talking about this whole time together, we've been talking about apples and honey, and I can see that some people are having some snack time, which is wonderful. I have a snack here too, and I bet you can guess what I have. I'm cutting it right now. I have a piece of apple and some honey. And so we are going to bless this beautiful fruit together. And there's actually a special prayer that we say over things that grow on trees. And it ends with Borei Pri Ha'etz. And eitz is a tree. So we're going to say together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Pri Ha'etz. And I'm going to dip my apple in my honey here and take a sweet bite for a sweet new year.
Yum, so delicious. And we actually have a special song in Hebrew about apples and honey. An apple is called tapuach, and multiple apples are called tapuchim. Tapuchim udvash. Dvash is honey. So we're going to sing a little song about apples and honey to end our service together for a sweet new year. Tapuchim udvash leRosh Hashanah. Tapuchim udvash leRosh Hashanah. Shana tova, Shana metuka, Shana tova, Shana metuka. Tapuchim udvash leRosh Hashanah. Tapuchim udvash leRosh Hashanah.
Cantor, you caught me with a mouthful of apple.
Sorry. Well,
Hey,
I can help you.
all good. Everybody, please turn to the people that you are sharing your home with, and of course, you're sharing your hearts with them too, and wish them Shana Tova, a very sweet new year. From all of us at WRT to all of you in our congregation, we love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to put our arms around you in real life. But for now, know that we're putting our hearts and our thoughts and our prayers around you on this beautiful first day of a new year. Happy birthday, world. Shana Tova. Shabbat Shalom. And we will see you very, very soon. Bye now.